what's the alternative to RFPs? So how we practice it at level 12 for customers who want something that's closer to a more traditional model, we can use what's called a MoSCoW. And a MoSCoW is must-haves, should-haves, could-haves, and won't-haves. What are the must-haves features? That is, without these features, the app is not worth building. What are the should-haves? What are the things that we really probably need, but if push came to shove, we could probably live without? What are the could-haves? What are those things that we'd really like, but recognizing that software is complex and can be expensive to build, these are the things that if we get to, great, but if we don't, it's not a deal killer, and the real value for this application is in the must-haves and the could-haves. I'm sorry, the must-haves and should-haves. And then finally, the won't-haves. That is, what are the things that we've talked about, and as we've talked about the project, we've actually said, you know, we've had this idea, but through the discovery process, we've realized that some of the things that we thought we might want, we actually don't want. So those go into the won't have bucket as things that we know we're not going to build anymore, but we just want to document that we've said that to avoid confusion or misunderstanding down the road. And so typically what we'll do in a MoSCoW situation where somebody needs a more formal project proposal and outline is we'll try to come up with an estimate for must-haves and should-haves, and we'll guarantee the must-haves. And so the estimate that we give is kind of it's a ballpark or it can be a fixed cost if they need it to be, but we're only guaranteeing the must-haves, which usually ends up being roughly about 50% of the project. And so what the customer ultimately has to decide is, if I get all of the must-haves, let's say it's a $50,000 project, if I get all of the must-haves and I get some of the should-haves, is that an ROI to me? Is that going to be a good return on investment? And a lot of times what we get with clients is we really only have to do the MoSCoW at the beginning, because once they do the MoSCoW and they start to work with us, they realize just how good we are to work with and how often we deliver on what we say we're going to do. And so that's the process that we typically use to, in place of an RFP or instead of an RFP.